Hello everyone, this is Jurgita with Magic Pun Crafts, and again a happy new year, happy 2022. And I'm starting my new monthly video vlogging. Today is January 1st. It's evening already. It's after dinner. We celebrated slightly belated birthday of a family member, so everybody's loved, and I'm finally able to start my stitching. So what you see in front of me is gonna be my first start of the year, and it's a brand new start, even though there's some things in here, but I count each of those ornaments as a separate. And it's by Suhilis Designs, Dark Shadows. And my plan for this year is to stitch at least, start and finish at least one more ornament. So right now I have 3 of them done. So 2 regular ones and 1 with the word. So I was trying to decide which one I wanted to do again this year. And as I said, I want to do at least one. So I figure since I have like a 2 without words and 1 with words, so I should do something again with words. So it's between those 2. And I've decided to start with this boo. It's something more interesting. Of course, it's a little bit bigger in size than, for example, would be like this candelabra. But I want to just work on that. And I just put in my hoop, and it's all ready to go. So as you can see, all 3 previous ones are sitting there, and I'm using the recommended 20 count Peoria purple linen fabric by Weeks Dye Works. So it's very soft and pliable, and I had to really tighten up my hoop to get it all nice and tight. I have my sticky pad right now to put in starting words, code words for different stitching games that I'm playing in various different Facebook groups. And I also, on my pattern keeper, I put in my pattern. You're not gonna figure out all. To mark it easier, I took it with my tablet camera, and if it counts sadly all the empty spots that would be in between here. So if empty spots counted, it would be 4,760 stitches, 4,760 stitches, but that's with everything in there. Of course, I'm not gonna need that many, but at least it's easier to mark it on pattern keeper than follow all the time on a paper version. So we'll start. I'm probably gonna start in middle part and just go up and down and the sides. So we'll see how it goes, how long I can stitch today. It's sort of like a purse stitching, car stitching, or doctor's visit stitching. So we'll see how much I can do right now, and if I should set aside or continue on. And again, I'm gonna be doing over 1 thread of fabric with believe 2 threads, so it's a very nice coverage happening like in the previous ones. You can see with the mostly black thread and some different other colors. And this is what I'm starting my New Year's Day off. So it's all ready to go. Just need to now thread my needle and kick it in. So let's see how it's gonna look after some stitches put in. And here it is. It's 2nd of January in the afternoon, and so far I've done exactly 500 stitches. So just started from a top and went slowly down 1 stitch at a time, crossing, and decided to stop today because I don't want to rush and actually finish this. It's gonna be traveling hopefully with because I want to work on my bigger piece, and this is my 2 kings. So as you remember, hopefully that my plan is to finish it this year, and that's the whole thing that's left, and it's 13,411 stitches. And each month I want to do at least it was planned at least 2,000 stitches. So hopefully I'll be able to do more, because then it means my frame can be freed for a different big project that I don't know which one I'm gonna do put in, but I want to continue with this faster. Plus I'm gonna have my spoiled child to do almost 4,000 this month too. And I also wanna put in some stitches in my girl ghost, because it hasn't been touched in a year and 1 day practically right now. So I want to kick in this one, and the small ones I figured I can push in between sometimes. So this is what I'm starting, and we'll see how it goes. So it's a whole new area right now, and I always start with the individual stitches, so it's gonna be just scattered, very slow beginning, and then in that area at the end is gonna be left the biggest amount of one color, so that's gonna fly pretty fast. So I'm going the full height in here versus like a 5 blocks that I used to do. So we'll see how it goes, and I guess I'll see you in maybe a couple of days to show you how it's going. Well, today is the 5th in evening of January, and I actually finished a bigger section than I was planning to, and my needles were just flying. I don't know, is that because I wanted to make this as my main whip to finish it, and since I saw the ending was going faster and faster, and probably towards the end I would slow down because I would not want to finish it. It would be sad to see it afloat, but I want to also finish in the same time, because I have a frame already waiting for a different whip to put on. That's gonna take a long time to do. So original my plan was maybe like 3,000 or so stitches put in, but I finished the section and it's like, oh well, you know, I want to do a little bit more, so I did a few more parts, and in total I got over 5,000 stitches put in those like 3 days. So like I said, my needles were flying. So I'm gonna set it aside. I have only this small section left, and it's just over 8,000 stitches left to do. But this is what it's looking right now, and it's kind of shading. And there's something interesting that I did not see before in that part, so you can kind of see the edge of it, and you'll see it next time if you don't remember, or you might actually rewind and see the picture what it's supposed to look like. But like I said, I keep finding some interesting little moments that I haven't noticed before, and what especially when you stitch you don't see it because it's more up close, and when you pull back then you can notice details and things popping out. But I decided to set it aside until probably the next month, and if I can do just over 4,000 a month, I would be done in 2 more months. But I have something else in my mind, so let's go see. And it would be a brand new whip. So I got this fabric all on the frame, fairly tight compared surprisingly with these kind of frames. I actually sewed in the edges, and I've decided to roll it this way versus stitching in the well, because pretty much once I move, like you see my marking here, that's where the pattern is gonna start. So if I move it, I think pretty much all the whip could fit in here. I just finished loading up my threads, and what you see kind of corner is actually going to be something that, like I said, when I was trying to frame things, I noticed that some things were not in pairs yet. So I'm going to do the pair. So what you see is a fairly old pattern. I don't know where I put it. I pulled it out. So I actually have the girl stitched, and I finished it in 2011 according to little paper that like I had made the copies of myself. So when I was pulling out all my unframed whips, I noticed, so here it is, that it's missing it's pairs. So I got the frames already, 2 frames for these from that charity shop, and it's waiting to be framed. I just need to figure out where I want to put like a date, so I would remember next time when I finished this one. And it was, like I said, many years ago. And I stitched on suggested fabric, 32 count white linen. So I didn't know anything about the colorful fabrics, hand-dyed fabrics, so I stitched on that. And I have another piece, and I decided I need to do the rest of it. I have that then framed, and it could be hanging in next to each other, just like in the picture. And it's not actually very big. It's like about 8 1/4 by like a 9 1/2, so it's not ginormous. And as you can see, there's going to be two Kreinik mill hill, 2 mill hill types of beads, and like a 32 pure colors, and like a 3 blends, like I had it marked in here, because I didn't want to pull another one like this, because I'll be using them, every one of them, and probably will be short than that. So I have it all ready to go, and I would love to finish in the next 3 months. That would be so cool, you know, like saying bye to winter. So this is what the boy looks like, and it has a little bit less colorful outfit than a girl, but it's fine. Blue colors. It's nicer to stitch after all those dreary dark colors of my kings. So like I said, I marked the top middle part, and probably gonna go somewhere from a top, although the very top is just the letters in here. And I don't know if I'm gonna do letters, or I'm just gonna go ahead and do the boy with snow shading. But this is what I want to start right now, and let's see how it goes. And well, 3 good days passed, and I did quite a bit of that. I had a sudden suffering of insomnia. I couldn't sleep for a long time at night. So that really put me in a stitchy continuation. And I got more than I planned to. So I got just over 40% of the whole thing done. So that's like from nothing to, in the blink of an eye, to something like this. So the letters are all finished in the stitching. It's just gonna need some back stitching to do, lines to make all around it. And the snow all on the top is done. I was kind of just going and finishing area, and then continuing with the thread down. So went all the way down to here. So it's approximately where the coat would and the main color, and then there's going to be little fringes, but all the face in here, it's all fully done. Of course there's going to be some beads, but I'm gonna leave a beading to the end. And you see the snow angel shape already making all around the snow. There's I think like mainly 2 sometimes 3 colors of the light blue and slightly darker blue in here. So I've decided that since I already passed the 33 percentage point, that it's safe to put this aside. Although it was fun to stitch. It's fairly easy, you know, Mirabilis. There's not a lot of color changes, except like, you know, in checkered areas in here and there. It's some similar like this to my Babs, but there's nothing very hard to do in that. And I decided to stop for this month with this, because I was doing my planning for the months, and I have in January planned about 8 whips. We'll see how that goes. And I was trying to coordinate also my magical Stitches Mystery Year weekly homework, and I have a couple more days left until I can pick up my oldest whip. So I've decided to pick up another nicely brightly colored whip. And that would be my Dimensions kit, Coral Peonies. As you remember, if you watch my plans that I'm hoping to stitch every month, about 1,000 stitches or 12,000 total in a year. So some months gonna be when I don't stitch it, but then I'll have to catch up in another month. So it's again full coverage, but it's nice and bright colors, not like what I have on my full coverage. And right now I have just a tiny bit over 3%, so it's not much. And again, I started from the top left corner here stitching, and I was just going with the color until I ran out of color or stitches for that color in here. So I think I'm gonna continue going that way, and just gonna keep going. And I guess I'll try to finish it, work on that only for 2 days. So on a Monday I can pick up my different whip. So this is what you see now, and I'll meet you in a few seconds to see the results. Well, 2 full days of stitching, and I did more than I was planning to, which is great too. So you can see that this corner part of the flower that you see right here is practically all done, except like a few spots here and there. And I did not fill it in because I usually was just grabbing one length of thread and just stitching until it's all gone. That's why I already went to the next flower in here. And same was with all of them, so I didn't have anything left in here. Even the blends I was trying to kind of finish off, so that's why you see a little bit here and there still unfinished areas. So the same thing was with the greenery. I went already in the leaves. Of course, I haven't done any of the back stitching, but started all of the just main stitching until I finish the bigger area. Maybe then I'll go back and do the back stitching, just not to need to go back to it at the very end, because there's going to be quite few lines that need to be, you know, backstitch, and like especially here, all those gonna be sort of like a French, almost like a French knots, but it's probably gonna be a lot of threads in there to make. And the leaves gonna be outlined too, so I even already used like a 4 threads of 310 to do the half stitching, like in some few areas. So that's also kind of cool. So I did I was planning to do at least 1,000, and I did actually 3, which is ahead of time. But since I'm not gonna be stitching every month, so that's good. I wanted to do at least 2,000, but like I said, by just grabbing one color and just running through it very fast, it's not very hard right now, all of the stitching to do. Like you see, I haven't even gridded this fabric, so just going in a row, and it's just flying through. And decided that 2 days planned it should be enough, and I probably gonna be pulling it out in March. Actually, I consulted my planner, and I have it written down only for April. So that's good. I covered up all 3 months already anyway, so that's pretty good. So not gonna see this for a few months, and this is when I'm leaving. I just wanted something more cheerful, some flowers put in, and to have something besides the wintry scenes, because my next whip is gonna be dark colors. So let's go there. And that is gonna be my Spoiled Child. Pattern is by Astra. And for those who of you are like a first time or haven't seen my previous videos, I fell in love with this picture that I've seen online. It was made by a French painter in like 1750s, and I asked Astra to make a pattern out of it, and it's now available for everyone. And I love the scene, the whole thing scenery. It's gonna be quite a busy in the bottom portion, because the top portion is very boring, like a lot of wall and furniture parts. So for this year, My goal, my wish is to stitch 2 rows, and that would be like 44,000 stitches. So to achieve that, I have to stitch over 3,500 a month, or if I would be skipping it, then it means it's a double the amount. So I'm pretty much gonna be pulling it out every month. And I already rolled up the frame, my Omanic frame, with the side stretchers too. So because it's one of the biggest pieces that I have to stitch on, I mean, compared to like my hand, which is kind of medium size, you can see how long and wide it is. I'm stitching this according to my little cheat note on 18 count, 2/1. So the pattern is 450 by 514, so total is 231,300 stitches is gonna be, and 153 symbols, and only 48 of them are pure color. The rest of it are gonna be blends, so it's a lot of blending to do. And from what you can see, where I'm gonna be on the row 3 is like right below this one in here. So it's should be at the end, so by the middle of the year I should be reaching her what's that called, the bonnet, the top of her hair covering. So the mostly is gonna be a wall, which should go pretty fast, even though it's a lot of different colors and blends. And you can see kind of the top in here of this part, so it's gonna be like that, something weird stuff in here, and the armoire. So that's gonna be my first row. So I have my work cut out. I'm gonna be marking my fabric with heat disappearing ink pen. So let's start, and I guess I'll be stitching on that for quite a few days. Like I said, I want to make 3,500 stitches, so probably like it's gonna take 4 days or so. Depends how busy I'm gonna be and how fast this is gonna be flying. So far my whips surprised me, maybe because it's the beginning of the year, but it's been flying, needles just been flying, so we'll see. So this is boring stuff that I'm gonna be starting, and I guess I'm gonna meet you in several days and see how the progress goes. I'm gonna go down by 5 blocks, so that's where is my row gonna be, and we'll see you in a bit. Well, 4 days passed, and luckily it's still not nighttime fully yet, and I finished my monthly section that I wanted. It did not reach 4,000 stitches, but it was very close, and I'm very happy that I finished it. And as you can see, it's just just a small portion of a wall. And next month is going to be again pure wall only, and a little bit lighter colors, I think, than here. You can kind of see the strand in this area getting lighter, so maybe it's not going to be as dark colors in here. And that I'm gonna leave probably for the month of February, and probably gonna take again a section of 5 by 8 if I can, and I'm gonna work on that. So that's gonna be 4 to 5 days work for me, most likely. Depends how much I'm gonna be able to do it in a day. So that I'm gonna be setting aside, and next I'm gonna be picking up is this one. It's my very old whip, oldest whip since 2017 April, I mean February also, and it's by Linen and Threads. It's a mystery sampler for that year, and I'm using about only 5 different color threads. One of them, as you can kind of see, it's a variegated, and the rest of them are fairly similar in the color choices, like a little bit purplish and sort of reddish burgundish. Ooh, needle get off. So I'm stitching that on the 32 count cream linen 1/1, and the only thing I know stitch wise is that it's 205 stitches wide. So comparatively with my hand, so here you go, and so you can see it becomes very small sized. Like I said, it's my oldest whip, and I want to finish it this year. So what you see in here is the beginning of October part, because they were sent posted as monthly parts, and nowadays you can get the whole thing as one file, and I think it's not free anymore, but it's because it's probably also as a whole thing, and what I have is in the parts still. So I'm gonna start in October part, and it's gonna be this little portion here with like a big blobs of some kind of flowers in between, and I don't know, I might stitch like a 1 or 2 full days, and then I'm probably gonna be starting this whip as like a daily, I don't know, 30-minute or some stitches amount that I'm gonna do daily, because that's the way I also worked last year a bit with my full coverage, and I was surprised how much I've done in a month and even a week, probably because I couldn't also stop at like 100 stitches. I would go like 2 to 500 a day, but it really progressed with the whip. So don't know how I'm gonna work this, but at least I'm gonna start today, and we'll see how much I can do. And it's my oldest whip, so it's going to be one of my Magic Stitches Mystery Year stitches, weekly things that I have to stitch, and then I'll continue for something else once I've done my weekly requirement. So that's what you see now, and later you'll see my progress on this whip. And it's a third day already. I worked a full 2 days on this, but constantly have to set it aside because of the small size. And as you can see, the major parts practically all done in the full October part. There's going to be partial plant like on this corner in here, and there's going to be some small details throughout in different colors, so I kind of just picked those 2 colors and went with it. And I've decided I'm gonna continue doing that with the small portions every day, a little bit, maybe like 100 stitches or so, and on my eyes it's going to be much easier that way too. So today I already did, because I wanted to finish this big round I don't know, is that like a flower buds or in here? So I'm gonna set this aside, and I want to show you something outside my window. We have some snow yesterday. We were supposed to get like 2 to 4 inches, and as you can see, there's barely any left the next morning again. But since we have some snow, I wanted to work something snow related. So let's see what I picked. And I've picked my snowman ball ornament. So this is what it's supposed to look like, at least on the screen. And I have just a 17% total done before New Year. And you can kind of tell that it's a tree without the backstitching, of course, and a snowman kind of figure with the scarf already in here. So I'm just gonna continue working on that, and I want to finish that in 3 months, so we'll see how it goes. But like I said, it's only like 17% done, so there's quite a bit, and the snowflakes gonna be very scattered in here, so it's gonna be start and finish a lot of those parts. And of course, backstitching is gonna be what brings it all together. So I'm gonna spend at least several days on this one, and of course, like I said, I'm gonna be working every day on my linen and thread sampler. So hopefully in a few days I'll finish my linen and threads October part, but I'm gonna be continuing with this right now, and we'll see how it looks in like a second for you. And here you go, several days passed and all the main stitching is done. So you can see all 3 snowmen here with their eyes. I guess I could have put the beads instead of the regular crosses, but I figured beads might be ripped off more easier on the ornament. And for extras, we have a trio of trees here, Christmas tree with some ornaments in here, and the gift bag with a moon and the festive hat in there. So only thing is left to do is to do all of the back stitching and the snowflakes throughout the whole area, and there's going to be a little bit of the French knots. So I think I'm gonna work another day on this, and it's fun to stitch, listening music, and just going fast through that. So we'll see how I do for another day. It was not my plan to finish this in January, so it's not a big deal if I don't finish it all, because there's going to be a lot of the back stitching, and like I said, all those snowflakes is going to be start and ending loosely everywhere. I don't want to do the long stretches throughout the back. So this is what it looks like with all main stitching done, and I guess in a second you'll see how it looks with some outlines. And here it is, couple more days passed and it's finally actually all done. It's totally was not in my plan to finish it, but once I started, I thought, oh well, it would be great to have a finish in January, and here we have. So I finished all the back stitching. There were a lot of those specialty stitch snowflakes, like you can see. There were a lot of stitches, and when even more up close, you can see how they're all done. So like even inside ones, parts that are like a little bit more intense, but it's all done. So very excited, my first finish. And for pattern purpose, the outline was also marked as a back stitching, but I don't think it's needed. When I'm ready to cut, I'm just gonna draw like I started in here. That's a water soluble marker. So I'm gonna just draw and then cut around it for sewing, but I'm not gonna do that right away. And I also already put in my initials and the year 2022. Well, just 22, like in the bag. I thought it was appropriate to do in the bag. It's like I gifted to myself, or whatever family member is gonna take it later on, that it was done in 22. So the back stitching was done in 1 and 2 threads of several different colors. I think it was like a 5. So of course majority of that was in the black, but there was a white and I can't even remember, it was a few other colors. So I think they all turned out very cute. Certainly childish kind of characters, but they're just so whimsical, so fun, and yeah. So that was my last start of 2021, right before New Year, and my first finish of 2022. So I guess those things go faster than my oldest whips. And so since this is done, I've decided to pull out, according to my plan, a last whip of this month, and let's go see that. And it's gonna be my Girl Ghost. It was a free pattern by Anayaki. It was an Russian social group that she posted that pattern. And as you can see, it's pretty big, 700 by 580. And I started it last year on the 1st of January, and I worked just for several days, and that was it. So this year my plan is to start more often. So total, I figured it would be great to have like 24,000 stitches in that. Right now I have only like 5,000, and since I'm not going to be working every month, which would make about 2,000 stitches each month, so I would have to do a little bit more every like few months. And it was my first time with this designer, first time on 25 count. It's like a Lucas Goblin, it's called the fabric, because it's almost like that 24 count that we have a special, you can see a lot of big holes. It just takes time to work out with this yellow because it covers more than one stitch. So it was my first time there, and my first time using SHS threads, which are thicker, and I'm doing it at a half stitch. So 2000 half stitch is not exactly 1000 would be as the crosses, because you still have to follow the pattern and start and cut off the threads. So some sites I know they calculate like 1.2 or 1.3 stitches versus like a half 0.5 as a half stitch counting. But that's all I have, and I'm also first time using my self-made frame in here. Like you see, it's pretty tight on my I didn't use a Monica frame because it's, I think I didn't have that size even frame, but it's a homemade frame and so far it's very tight. So this is the whole length. So on 25 count, it would be 28 inches wide and 23.2 inches high. And right now I'm just in that corner here, and there's lots of grayish color and some bluish, lots of blends. So total are 166 symbols, and only 25 of them are pure, and the rest of it are blends. So there's a lot of it, and like I said, I think it's my biggest whip because total is going to be 406,000 stitches. So as you can see, the coverage is very good. You can't see anything right through it, and there's a bunch of blends. So far SIS threads, that's all I've worked on, and I can't use longer ones, just you cutting shorter ones, but that's what's working out. It's gonna take me a while again to get used to the yellow lines, which are gonna wash off later on. So we'll see. I think I'm gonna work like maybe 4 days or so. I'd like to get like 4,000 stitches in here. So what I looked at the first like 1500 part is only like a 4 different symbols, so it's gonna be fairly easy in here to do. And then first row is just like up to here. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be working on. And of course, interspaced in the mornings or so every day, I'm gonna be doing my linen and threads sampler. And I'm very happy to say that I just finished my October part, and I'm now in November part, but you'll see that later on. Right now it's just going to be boring parts in the background of this girl. So I'll see you in a bit with more of this, I guess. And wow, I surpassed myself, my plans at least. So this whole section I already did, so versus what I did last year. So there's a big difference. And one of the ways it went so fast is because I did not have a lot of colors. I think maybe like a 6 maximum, and like maybe one of them was, or two, just a pure color, so it was all blends. But you can kind of see that it changes slightly in the color variation. It was like more dark in here, and that's where I think I'm gonna stop for this month. I think I did way more, and next I think I have it planned like only in March to continue. So I did more, and it's good, and I'm not behind my plans. And this is about where the middle is gonna be. So there's still quite a bit to go. And when you look at the picture, the middle part is where the hair is gonna start, just about there. So that's gonna be something new showing up, and I don't know how many colors it's gonna be in there, changes, but this is where I'm gonna leave January with, and I'm very satisfied right now. It went very fast comparatively. So that's what I left for now. And since there's still several days left in January, I decided to pull out my previous whip from before, since what I planned is all done. So let's see what I grabbing. So since it's still winter time, I decided to work on my boy, continuing, and I already started this month. So I'm just gonna continue filling in the stitches, and in the outfit here right now I have just over 40% done of the whole thing. It's also ahead of my time, but it's still great to stitch. Plus the different colors from my girl ghost is gonna be more fun to stitch. And maybe it will call for some more snow, although I doubt it. I don't think we're gonna see the snow for a whole week probably. But you can always hope, right? So this is what I'm gonna be picking and working, and of course my linen and threads sampler I'll be continuing daily whenever I can. So this should improve in the stitch count greatly, hopefully, and then I might touch up on something else at the very last days of January, but we will see. So that's where I'm gonna be concentrating on right now. Well, I worked and worked, and it was so hard to actually stop that I figured I'm not getting any snow, so might as well stop it. Plus, something to leave in February to do, because it's gonna be mostly beads. There's still over 600 stitches left, although it's kind of hard to tell. But there's gonna be angel on the bottom still needs to be stitched. There's a little bit only like a bluish color left on those snow drifts, and some like outlining back stitching done on that snow, and then it's going to be beads all over that. And I think I'm gonna leave that. I think I've done plenty in January. That this is all I've stitched in this month, so that's above my plans for this month. And think I'm gonna grab something else. Just wanted to quickly show you. I found this frame months back at like a consignment shop, and I think I bought it partially for the frame to use it somewhere. This is a puzzle that somebody's done, and I'm enjoying right now. I had it set somewhere like a where I keep all my frames, and I like now the scenery so much because if you remember, I think I've told you before that I'm born of in the year of fire dragon, and this scenery is kind of cool, although too bad it's a puzzle thing. So I'm just keeping it setting aside right now to stare at it when I stitch. And like I said, I'm gonna stop with this. I've been working on my sampler slowly pretty much every day. If I don't stitch one day, then I stitch a little bit more the next day. But getting close to the end of November part, so that's also above my plans to do, and it's kind of hard to stop once you start getting into the repetition. And those last few days I'm gonna be using to go closer towards the end of the whip, which I'm gonna show you right now. And it's gonna be my two kings again. If you remember, I have just over 8,000, so like to be exact, 8,164 stitches left in that area, and my whip would be done. So my plan was to work on next few months also and finish it before April, which is the painter's one of the anniversaries, birth or death, I can't remember right now at the second, but I wanted to finish before that, and that's should be easily done even if I don't stitch right now those extra few days. But over 8,000 still left, and I'm picking up area in here, the whole height, and then work towards it. So I think I'm gonna start working on this. Like I said, all my January plans are finished, and I have a few extra days, so I think I'm gonna get on that. And it's gonna be murky, darker colors, but after stitching on all those bright snow angel colors, it's gonna be okay. And it's going to be a lot of darkness, especially here. I think towards the end, it's should be a lot of like a 3/10 and blends with it. So we'll see. I'm not gonna get in the end, of course, right now. It would be nice to make it, I don't know, 1,500 stitches. So that would be like a 2 columns in here or so. And then I'm gonna continue with this in February, and it's gonna slowly grow and then probably gonna take off like a train until the end. That's pretty much what happened to my George piece and my Lion piece. It's like always towards the end I want to slow down and I want to speed up at the same time. So that's my dilemma. But anyway, this is where I'm starting, is in this area. And I guess I'll meet you at the end of the month with showing how much I've done in this and on my linen and threads sampler. The claw, the claw. I can feel our floor shaking here.
What?
I can feel our floor shaking. Dumping. So much fun. Well, today is February 1st, and it's time to wrap up my January stitching overview. So I was very shocked when I counted my total stitches for my linen and thread sampler. Turns out that in January I did 4,406 stitches. So definitely way more than I was planning to do, which is also kind of good because it means that I'll finish it way faster. So what you see is here the last part of November already. So I'm just gonna finish these little plants or something, whatever they called, and there's gonna be a little one in between little parts that I'm gonna be doing different color, and then I'm gonna have just a bit taller border for December, and that will be done. So I think I'm gonna continue same way in February with this. Maybe I'll stitch one day fully on this, although I'm not sure because like I said before, it's a small count over one, and I can't I prefer not to work for a very long time over it, but if like throughout the day I can do little by little, then it's fine too, and then I'll continue throughout the month. In January I had some days where I have not worked on this, but then I try to catch up on another day. I think that's why I got so many stitches put in, and of course repetition helps because like I know exactly what it looks like, and then I can just without even looking at the pattern just keep continue and repeat it. So that's what I have done for my January part in this whip, and I'm gonna show you right now how much I've did on my kings, which kind of surprised me too. Ta-da-da-dam, guys, look at it. I overdid myself too. I think it's a similar story to what I had last year with my lion. Oh, What's This by Hade, which I'll show you a bit later. And in January I did a lot of stitching in that one too. So here I think because I'm getting towards the end, like I said, I finished the part here and I thought, oh okay, you know, I'll set it aside, and then I thought, well, you know, I'll just put in a little bit more so I don't have that much more left, and I kept going and going, and right now I'm very happy to say that I have, I think, like 6 or 7 symbols only left. So there's gonna be growing amount of stitches in each color that I do because I mentioned if you know how I stitch, especially those big whips, that I start from a smallest amount in the area and then going up. So towards the end is last the most stitches of one color left, and that's gonna be flying. So I think in February it's gonna be done, and it's gonna take me only one time. I think maximum maybe 4 days. Maybe I can even squeeze in 3, because I have about 3,108 stitches left. And it was so fun to finish the color, and I think that's what got me into late night stitching even with this, because just finishing the symbol, and you know it's not going to be there, and this is what it looks like right now, at least the bottom portion of this whip. So the ending is very, very near. I probably could just continue with this, but I think in January I did many days on it, and though I want to finish it, but also I'd like to rest a little bit from this color combination, especially when I have also my spoiled child that in similar darkness kind of stuff. So that's gonna be resting for a tiny bit, but not for way too long, because this way I can empty my Omanic frames for something different that I also plan to start in the very near future. I'm gonna need those bigger frames. So overall, when I looked, I did over 38,000 stitches. So that's my one of the top amounts I've ever done in 1 month. And like I said, plan was like 4,000 only to do of this whip, and I've done, let's see, where's my list, over 10,303 stitches just so on this whip in January. So like I said, I overdid again, and I think maybe it's because of the beginning of the year and I had it all written down in the plans, which kind of helps me when I don't know which one to pick, and I don't want to forget something like I did before, like which whips just sat like a whole year. So I think the plan would help me way more. And towards the end, sort of my one hand want to stitch faster, another hand wants to extend the time to work on something, because part of my life is involved already with each piece, and I remember where I stitched, what was happening in my life too. So that's like my history too. But also to wrap up January, I was doing a lot of framing, and that was my record, and probably I beat some of your records for that too, and I'll take you in my dining room to show you that. Well, here it is. I have it on my table, like one side. I'm pinning right now this piece of work. I very strangely, I found exactly these 2 frames years apart. Like here's the second, years apart from a different consignment shops, and it's exactly same picture was inside, exact same frame, and I got it just because it was a different shape, which is kind of hard sometimes to find. So I have these roses done like an antique style, and there's another kit which I still need to buy from Russian site. There's gonna be like a lilies that's also in the same kind of style, so I think they will look great with this kind of frame. It's gonna be a little bit different to figure out how to attach, like they had a paper picture with the screws in here, so but I'll figure out how to do. But what I want to show you, the main thing is like this corner. So this pile in here is everything, all the stitching is already stretch in the back. I laced everything. I did not use any pins, so I laced it. They're in the frames. Practically all of them are also in the glass, and just need to have like a backing to do like attach in the back, because not all of them have like a attaching, because I pulled out practically all of those frames are from a second-hand stores, and I pulled out all the pins, everything that had old stuff on it. but like a couple of them, like you see, like standing, so they had a backing. And yeah, so that's all my framing done. I think I'm gonna cut mat off because it's too small. So, but I like the matting in here possibly. And there's more underneath that I'll need to go get like a mat, because my picture, like this cute guy, snow leopard, needs a mat because the frame is too big. So like I said, yeah, that's a pile, and my biggest amount ever I've done. So there are a couple pictures in here that I took to the Hobby Lobby because I got museum glass for them, and the lady there also fully finished the backing. So this is gonna go to my son. It's his birthday thing, and he picked this frame from one of those frames that I got. I think it might have been like $5. But the glass, of course, was way more, and there are a couple more in there that I'll take pictures later on to show you, that also took for museum glass. And this frame had like a cork board, so I'll have to figure out how to get the glass in, and I already bought the spacers. So like I said, this is my biggest ever pile amount that I've ever done in the framing. So it's not all of them fully done. Like I said, needs either backing or attachment, or like a mats, that kind of stuff. But it's all cleaned up, and there's more waiting. But that's what I've been also working on in my January. Sorry, my dog likes delivery bigger trucks to bark at. So that's where I'm gonna leave you, and I hope you enjoyed my process in January. And if you'd like to see any of these pieces later on, I might show you up close. But in February, I think I'm gonna continue working on them. I'm not gonna put museum glass in all of them because, like, pretty much all those bigger pieces were like $60 cost me to just put museum glass. I'm not talking about the frames itself, because frames were like between $3 to $5 each. So I hope you guys stay healthy, and have time to do your needlework, your stitching, spend time with the families, and I'll see you in February video. Until then, this was Jurgita saying bye, and I'll be waiting for your comments below. So until then, bye-bye.